Okay, this section is covering finding the equations of parallel and perpendicular lines. And what you need to know is the slope of two parallel lines is equal. The slope of two lines that are perpendicular to each other is the opposite reciprocal. So if I'm given a line, y equals 3x plus 2. What's the slope of this line? 3 over 1. Yep. Slope is 3 over 1. And that's a good habit, Catherine, to do, to keep them, even if it's an integer, to make it a fraction. Okay, that's a good habit. So the slope here is 3 over 1. If I wanted to find the equation of a line that's parallel to this one, what would the slope of that new line be? 3 over 1. Okay, so that's what I mean when I say that the slopes of two parallel lines are equal. If I wanted to find an equation of this line, equation of the line that's parallel to this one, it would be the same slope, 3 over 1. Now, if I wanted to find the equation of a line that's parallel to this one, what would the slope of the new line be? No.
Wait, you said parallel?
Perpendicular, sorry.
Perpendicular,
Negative 1 over 3. Okay? So what we do is we take the opposite sign of whatever we're given, so it becomes negative, and we flip it. So this one would be parallel. This is perpendicular. And this is the symbol for perpendicular, if you didn't know. Okay. So let's use the same equation, and let's come up with an equation for the line parallel to this one that goes through the point 3, 7. So I want to find the equation of the line parallel to y equals 3x plus 2 that goes through the point 3, 7. How do I do this?
Y equals 3x plus 2 equals 3, 7. Plug in next one.
Okay, so we've already found the slope. So it's 3x plus 7, or plus b, right?
Yeah.
I don't know the new y-intercept.
Right, so take in 7 for y.
3 times 3 plus b. 7 equals 9 plus b minus 9. b is equal to negative 2. So the equation of the line that's parallel to this one that goes through the point 3, 7 is 3x minus 2. Notice the original equation, all I needed from that equation was the slope. I could care less what the y-intercept is, because the y-intercept of my new line is going to be completely different. It's going to have the same slope, but it's going to go through the y-axis at somewhere else. In fact, this line goes through the y-axis at negative 2.
I have a question.
Yes?
Okay, so if you have a completely different first formula, is the parallel going to be the same but opposite? Does that make sense? So if you
No.
No, it's not. Okay.
It just worked out that way. Yep. Yep. Okay, so now I'm going to go through and find the equation of a line perpendicular to this one that goes through this point. So I've found the slope, negative 1/3, but I don't know the y-intercept. Same thing, I'm going to put the point 3, 7 in, and that's a negative. So 7 equals negative 1/3 times 3 is negative 1. And 7 minus 1 is 8 equals b. So I have y equals negative 1/3 x plus 8. Everybody go in to your home page on Canvas, home page for Algebra 2. There's a link to something called Desmos. Click on that link. And I'll do the same.
Beautiful free explore method Desmos. Oh, I think I've seen this one.
Okay, on the right where it says start graphing, just click that and you get this to come up. Everybody put in the original equation And your line should look like this.
Wait, where is it?
It's on the homepage.
Go to Desmos. Okay. And just to review, let's look at this line. The y-intercept is 2 because it goes through the y-axis at 2, which is why this last constant is 2. The slope is up 3 over 1. It goes up to 8 and then over 1 from the y-intercept, right? Okay, the equation that we found for the parallel line was y equals 3x minus 2. So everybody type that one in next.
You want us to press enter or something?
Press enter and then go to the next equation.
3x minus 2.
That's the equation that we found.
Oh, that's good.
Do they look parallel?
Yeah.
Yeah. Does it go through the point 3, 7? Because that's the point that we wanted this line to go through.
Yeah.
Does it go through that point?
Yeah.
And it has the same slope, and its y-intercept is negative 2.
Absolutely.
Okay, press enter again. And now type in our new equation, negative 1/3 x plus 8. Negative 1/3 x plus 8.
It's a curve. Oh, y equals.
Oops, x plus 8.
How do we get out of that? Oh, that's good.
Negative 1/3 x plus 8. Once you do a fraction in Desmos, you've got to do the right arrow so that it goes back to the numerator. Okay, does the new line that you graphed look perpendicular to the one we started with?
Yep.
Yes. Okay, so this is illustrating two parallel lines with the same slope, one perpendicular that has the opposite inverse slope. Okay, if I have a line that is vertical, yeah, you can. You can go ahead and get out. Let's call it x equals 4 is my line. What's the slope of this line?
It is undefined.
Undefined. Good. Vertical lines have undefined slope. So what is the slope of a line parallel to this line? Undefined. What's the slope of a line perpendicular to this line? 0, because a line perpendicular to this one will be a horizontal line. And the slope of horizontal lines are 0. Okay? So if you're given the equation y equals 7, is that a horizontal or vertical? Horizontal. Because everywhere on the line it goes through y equals 7. So if I give you the equation of the line y equals 7, and I want you to find the line perpendicular to this line, the equation for that line that goes through this point. So y equals 7. I want you to find the equation of the line perpendicular to this line that goes through the point 2, 7. How would you do that?
I need paper first.
No, you really don't. Think about it. What's the slope of the line y equals 7?
Undefined. 0.
0. So what's the slope of a line perpendicular to y equals 7 going to be? Perpendicular, undefined, which tells you it's what kind of line?
Vertical.
Vertical line. Equations of vertical lines are always what? X equals something. But it has to go through the point 2, 7. So what's x equal to? 2. The equation of the line that's perpendicular to this one that goes through the point 2, 7 is x equals 2. Okay, so don't just jump to thinking you're going to have to write an equation and use algebra. Think about these problems. You aren't given a slope here, or you are. The slope is 0. So to find the inverse of 0, well, that's undefined. So that means it's got to be a vertical line. And vertical lines are x equals. Okay? All right, so let's look at the textbook check. Maybe. And find the right. First question, what's the slope of a line parallel to y equals -2?
0.
Yes, because the slope of a horizontal line is 0. Any line parallel to that will also be horizontal with the same slope of 0. As noted in the end of the video, when trying to find the equation of a line perpendicular or parallel to a given line, what information is not needed? The y-intercept. The slope is needed. We could care less what the y-intercept of that first line is because it's not going to change anything with the new line. All we care about is the slope. Question 3, the product of the slopes of two perpendicular lines is what? Well, think about this. When we had one slope was 3/1, the perpendicular slope was -1/3. What's the product of these two slopes? -1. If the slope of a line is m, the slope of the perpendicular is -1/m. Opposite reciprocal. And then finally, to find the equation of a line parallel or perpendicular to a given line through a given point, first use the slope of the given line to find the slope of the new line. Then you need to find the y-intercept of the new line. How do you do that? Plug in the new slope and the given point and solve for b. Okay? So again, 2-1 was due last night. 2-2 is due tonight. 2-3 will be due Monday night. We're going to be doing 2-4 on Monday, and then a quiz over 2-1 through 2-4 on Tuesday.
We don't have one next week.
All right.
It's going to be weird going to school on the internet.